I'm super excited because today I get to sit down with Yulin. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen her on my Instagram live. We did a little live chat in lockdown. It's actually a funny story. We haven't never met in person until just now. And I was like, we started just chatting the whole time, and I was like, Yulin, we have to get this video done now, because like we can have like tea and cake another day, but today we have to actually work. So I'm very excited. Do you want to maybe just introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you do? Because I think you can do that best.
Okay, so I'm Yulin. I worked in corporate and I studied finance, and then end of last year, just before I got married, I actually decided to sort of have a shift in career. So I went from the whole corporate finance world and I built up my own brand to sort of sell programs and work in the fitness industry, which I absolutely love. But I was just telling Mika how I actually shy away from, you know, just being a fitness influencer and focusing on holistic health, and how every aspect in your life should be healthy, and not just, you know, your body and being obsessed with your body. So I think that's essentially what I'm for, is overall health and being happy in yourself in all aspects of your life and not just in your body. So yeah, that's what I'm here for.
And she's extremely motivating and inspirational.
Yeah,
inspirational. We are both Afrikaans, so if we don't speak that great English, I mean, just deal with us. You will still understand what we're trying to say. Anyways, so today I feel very honored to be able to be in her house and chat with her, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will also learn a lot. So before we start, you are my first guest on this channel, and I'm very excited because I'm going to ask every single guest this, and I'm hoping that everyone's answer will be different. But welcome to Confidently Me. What makes you feel confident in your own skin?
I think, you know, everyone deserves to feel confident in all aspects of their life, and I think that we are all, like, we need to realize that life is too short to focus on your insecurities. And I think with the whole, you know, body positivity movement and fitness industry, there's so much emphasis on you're not allowed to be able to, you know, lose weight while being body positive. And I think something that I struggled with internally for so long was loving my body, embracing who I am, but also wanting to be better. Because there's nothing wrong with that. They're not mutually exclusive. Just because you are body positive doesn't mean you're not allowed to be able to lose weight or to want to be able to look better. So yeah, I honestly think, you know, like, confidence for me is when I realize that I'm not just my body. This is not just who I am. Like, there's so much more to me than just how I look. And you know what Instagram sees of me, and I think that's where I find my confidence, is knowing that it's not just about your body.
Like we were just saying, you can't put worth on what you look like. I mean, at the end of the day, if you pick up a few kilograms, you shouldn't let that define your confidence and make you feel worse about yourself. So that's very nice to hear, and thank you so much also for sharing that. You are very confident in yourself, and I love how Yulin always shares the good and the bad about her body. I mean, she's also gone through a few stomach issues, and she's been very open and honest about it. And I think it's nice to see also that no one is perfect, and that you have your good days where you look and feel very great, and then you do have your bad days where you feel a bit worse in yourself and in your own skin. But as you said, you should never let that define.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into the first question that I have for you. So if you guys didn't know, I will pop up a few photos on the screen, but Yulin went through a massive transformation in her body, and it's quite insane to see. And if I'm not wrong, it took you quite a while. Like, it didn't happen overnight, which I think is, of course, the healthier way to do stuff, and also more like sustainable, because you can keep it up. But what motivated you to go through this transformation and do it in a healthy, long-term way?
You know, I think for me it was like, I was so tired and frustrated at a point in my life where I used to train for so long and ate healthy, but I was never educated what healthy actually means. And I was so focused on being skinny and eating leaves and, you know, salad all day. It never really got to me the fact that I'm actually not educated on how you should be eating for your specific body composition goals. And I think for me it was a shift in focus. It was actually that you need to feel your body and able to see results. And it honestly, like, I think that results, obviously, as soon as you start seeing results, that motivates you even more.
No, of course.
And I think the biggest thing that I always try and achieve through my programs and through my platform is realizing that a 6 or 8 week challenge or 6 or 8 week program or anything is not gonna change your life. It will change your life for the short run. But then, I mean, how many girls have you seen that they lose so much weight in this crash diets, and then what happens after that. And I'm all about like essentially what happens after that is, can you sustain this for the rest of your life? And if you can't, then you're not going to be able to keep that off. And I think so many people ask me like, how am I keeping my weight off? How do I still see results? And it's because I made it a lifestyle change, not a 2 or 3 month thing. So yeah, that's essentially how I got to transform my body and actually keep it transformed, if that makes sense.
No, I think like even if you look at stuff like juice diets or whatever, celery cleanse or whatever, you are going to lose weight in that few days that you do it, but after that you're just going to pick it up again because it isn't something that is sustainable, and Yulin found a way to do it in a sustainable way that actually keeps you motivated and keeps you going, keeps the weight down after you did the whole program, which I think is insane and amazing, and I wish I was as motivated as you to do it. But as soon as that chocolate creeps around the corner, I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyways, don't feel bad if you don't have the motivation. I mean, I think it also does take quite a strong mental capacity.
And I was chatting, I had a live the other night, and they were asking me like, what's the biggest struggle? And I think the biggest struggle is the lack of transparency that social media, you know, shows us, and no one's honest about the actual struggles behind having a transformation. A transformation is so sugar coated,
and so many times you see a transformation like this was a 6-week transformation, which sometimes it wasn't even, it was like a few months, but then you just see the before and the after picture and it looks like so amazing.
And you buy the program.
Exactly.
So
I think we have also spoken about this in our Instagram live, where we said like you have to be so careful about what you see on social media because it can so easily be like just a selling point, and people fall for that, unfortunately. I think I've also fell for a few.
Yeah, we all have.
I think
I fell for too many.
Yes. She told me once, she was like, Mika even did the Kellogg's diet
on the back of the box.
I was like, oh my gosh. But I think I mean, even if I feel like, oh gosh, I need to lose some weight, the first thing I do, which is so wrong, is I go on Pinterest. And then you start Googling how to lose weight in 3 days. I mean, you are going to lose weight in 3 days if you do the wrong stuff, but you got to pick it up again. Exactly. So I think it's also a mind shift you have to make. It needs to be something you actually decide beforehand you really want to do, and you have to do it long term. Otherwise, you are just going to fluctuate the whole time. And of course, other stuff also plays a role, like hormones and stuff. We all go through that as well. But I think if your main focus is on doing it as we are back. I think if your whole main thing is about doing it long term and really creating a lifestyle out of it, it's so easy. And like if you have the right mental capacity and your decision to do it, you should be able to sustain. So the next question, we're going to throw like 2 in 1, and the one is, how do you stay motivated every day to wake up? Because you're very good at this. I always watch your Instagram and it's always like Yulin wakes up, has a coffee, and then she goes for a workout, and I'm like, it's 8:30, I'm in bed like, oh my gosh, it's so cold, how am I going to survive?
I'm an early morning person.
So how do you actually stay motivated, and how do you motivate yourself on the days that you do wake up and you feel very demotivated and like just like not ugh, you don't want to do it?
Well, firstly, I'm not motivated every day, definitely not. And I think that's probably the question that I get the most, like, how do I stay motivated? And I think for me, I try to shift my focus from just being motivated, because honestly, if you sit and you wait to be motivated, you're never going to get off your ass and do anything. That's the reality of it. So I like to rather look at it as being dedicated. Like, I'm extremely dedicated, and that's why I'm driven and I'm so passionate about getting up every morning. I mean, obviously it's much nicer, especially in the middle of winter, to stay in bed and have coffee and chill.
Winter is my life.
It's not good.
I just can't.
But for me, that's helped me the most, and the biggest tip that I would give you is to break down your goals into smaller, like, mini goals. I like to set goals for myself for the week instead of having this big end goal in mind. Like, instead of saying I want to lose 10 kilos, rather focus on how do you want to lose it, or you want to run a 21k in 6 months, but how are you actually going to break down your little goals to reach the potential to be able to run it in one. And that's essentially what drives me, is getting out of bed in the mornings knowing, like, I've said to myself, I'm gonna do 5 workouts this week, I'm gonna try and drink 3 liters of water today, I'm gonna do it. And that's why, like, it's more, to me, it's more being dedicated than it is actually motivated.
That's like, at the end of the day, if you want to become a doctor, you're gonna have to study for 6 years or whatever to get that degree. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be easy studies, but you're going to wake up every day and study, because at the end of the day you want to become a doctor. And it's the same, it's like, it's the end goal that you want to reach.
And I must say, like, on this topic, something that I struggle with quite a lot is people are so easy to say, oh, you're so obsessed, you're so obsessive with your body and your health and how you look. But you know, if you look at a doctor or at someone who's saving up for a trip to Bali or wherever, and you obsessed with your finances and budgeting for the month, no one called you obsessed. But if you're obsessed, or if you make a priority to train and eat healthy, you're seen as you have obsessive behavior. But I feel like to get anywhere in life, you're going to go through a phase where you are going to be a bit obsessed with anything. And that's no greatness have ever been achieved from sitting and doing nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why I hate that, you know, people say like you're so obsessed or you're so obsessive with health and fitness. I was, and I'm such a balanced place in my life now. But to be able to get to where I am now, I went through being obsessive and having
And I think you actually also mentioned a few weeks ago on your Instagram that you are not as lean as you have been before, and that I don't know, you said like
I'm fine with that because I'm happy and I'm balanced. I can have a glass of wine tonight.
We were just talking about that because Yulin was like, people can't believe, because guys, she's got an amazing body, she's got a lot of clothes on, but she's got an insane body. And we were saying like, people can't believe that Yulin actually drinks every now and then. And I was like, yeah, she's got a social life and she's active. I mean,
and that's where it's an holistic approach. Every aspect of your life should be balanced, and not just how you look. It's also your relationship and your personal relationships and everything else should fall into being healthy.
Because also, I think if you have a balance in your life, stuff also like
falls into place.
Yes, stuff will fall into place. If you're not obsessive over one thing, then other things are going to happen the same. I think same with me, like in the modeling industry, every now and then we get told we have to lose weight or we have to lose centimeters, and it's usually those times when we get told we have to, that it's kind of impossible, like we don't lose it. But then as soon as we sit back, relax, and we just kind of make it a long-term thing, then it happens, you know. As soon as we're not as constantly thinking about it, then it kind of happens and everything falls back into place. So okay, so then the next question I'm going to ask you is, say someone comes to you today and they tell you, Yulin, I want to go through the same transformation you went. What tips, or like, how would you tell them to approach the whole situation?
So I think that's why I wrote these ebooks, was essentially to fast forward someone else's process and not have to go through the same mistakes that I made. It's not a diet book, it's not a meal plan. I'm not telling you what to eat, when to eat, or how to eat. It's the tips and principles and tricks that the fitness industry is not transparent about, that I put into an ebook. And essentially, like, it all will come down to calories in versus calories out, but life is not just about calories. There's a holistic approach to your hormones, to so many different things, and that's the stuff that I actually discuss in the ebook, is how to lose weight in a sustainable, healthy way, and not just lose it and not be able to keep it off.
Exactly.
So I would suggest like starting and invest in educating yourself about food and training and stuff, and not just buying a diet blindly. Because I do believe, like, when you let's say I buy your meal plan and you say I must eat this and this and this, I don't know why I'm eating it. I don't know what it's doing to my body, because I'm not educated about it. I just blindly follow it. Whereas with the ebooks, you sort of make your own choices with food, and you actually just learn the principles behind nutrition, and that's something you can apply to the rest of your life. So I would say make it a life change, a lifestyle change, instead of thinking it's a deadline before my friend's wedding or before summer.
Yes. And I was saying the other day, never look for a summer body, because everybody is a summer body. And I had to learn this myself, because I used to also be like, winter, oh my gosh, summer's on its way.
Yeah, definitely.
But you are fine. Everyone's body is a bikini body. Anyways, okay. So then to move on, I think let's talk about a few like myths and stuff, because this is a very fun part for me, because the other day me and my boyfriend were walking and we were like starting talking about myths that go around, and people like, you shouldn't have protein because that's going to bulk you up. You shouldn't do strength, as a woman, you shouldn't do strength training because you're going to look like a bodybuilder. And I mean, I've seen with experience with Yulin is that she uses protein, first off, and I do now as well.
I got me going with protein shake.
I'm so happy about it. And secondly, she uses like weights, and I'm not talking about the 2-3 kilogram weight. She lost like, the other day she had used like a 30 kilogram weight. I was like, Yulin, that's like half my body weight. Like, come on, how do you even do that? So if we have to break that down and kind of just explain to people, it's not going to make you bulk, it's not going to make you look like a bodybuilder. I mean, she looks really feminine and very nice. I don't see any bodybuilding happening here. So how would you kind of explain to people how to use it in a way that will keep you lean and kind of...
I think the biggest thing with protein is, and also whey protein especially, is people see it, I used to think like steroid, like you don't use whey protein.
Like, I see those ladies like on
and that's the reason is because we see that girls and we think, oh my goodness, I never want to look like that. So I'm not going to do weight training and I'm not going to eat protein. But you have no idea how much you should actually be eating to actually gain muscle. Like this year, my whole focus was actually building up muscle. It's so much easier to lose fat. And I think with protein is there's so many other benefits to protein, you know, your satiety levels, your recovery levels, your blood pressure, your bone health. There's so much other benefits of eating protein and not just, you know, getting lean. But essentially what protein does is, so it obviously increases your muscle mass, and the higher your muscle to fat ratio is, the more fat you will burn.
Okay.
So the higher your protein diet is, and it's not keto, it's, I mean, I eat carbs every single day. I love carbs.
I know, yes, it's the best
So,
thing.
and that's the thing is I educated myself about protein and, you know, why protein, and whey protein is just a supplement to your nutrition. It doesn't replace anything. I know people drink it sometimes straight from the bottle, but we were just saying, like, there's nothing worse to me drinking it. I incorporate it into my meals because I don't want to be eating steak for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and fish for dinner. So
you know, if you say that, I always think of the university boys, like trying to bulk up, and then they're like prepackaged. They're like, it's always rice, chicken, broccoli.
Yes,
rice, chicken, broccoli.
And I used to eat like that.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
that's the worst of all. So I think is whey protein is such a fun and delicious way of.
I mean, we were just saying, if you're a sweet tooth like we are, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, incorporate it in your oats or smoothie bowls or whatever.
And you can
it's really just a way of increasing your protein, and protein is really the building block to muscle and to maintain lean muscle.
And I also like to use it in a way where I kind of eat it just to keep me fuller for longer.
It's a massive thing, as it keeps you full for much longer.
Because I'm quite a snacky eater, but if I have protein in my meals, it kind of like sets me fuller for longer, you know.
No, definitely.
And I also think you don't have to have like 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 protein shakes a day. Like I incorporate it into my breakfast, and it keeps me fuller just in my breakfast. You don't have to have it. I think probably people that use it to like build muscles use
3
it
or
like
4 times a day.
Do they?
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
But you don't have to. That's the thing. Is like you also don't have to drink a protein shake every day.
Yeah.
You also can drink protein when you're not training.
That's what I wanted to ask now, because I saw someone else ask on your story the other day. Is it like bad if you drink protein and you're not training at the moment?
I think my answer was, is it bad eating chicken on the day that you're not training?
Yes. Because a lot of days I go without training and I still have my protein because it's really
and
nice.
it's good, because that's the thing, is there's so many other benefits.
Exactly, yeah. And then the other one was the weights.
Oh, the weight training.
That's something I still would like to incorporate into my fitness
so,
as well.
I mean, like, so many people ask you, like, will you get bulky? I think I don't know what I'm weighing, but I'm probably the smallest and leanest I've ever been, and I'm training the heaviest with weight training. And I used to like fool around with, you know, the typical gym 2-3 kilos, the little pink weights.
I use and I walk with them. I'm like a real grandma. I walk with my weights.
But the heavier you go, the more muscle you build, the more muscle you burn. The more fat you burn.
Yeah.
So people are scared to go heavy, and I don't. You know, honestly, I don't blame it, because there's so much like information out there that's not true. But women should be doing resistance training. It's great for so many benefits for the long run. I'm not saying you need to lift 30 or 50 kilos every day. Start small, and a lot of people say, like, how do you build up to doing 30 kgs or whatever? Start small. You start with 2 kgs and then you go heavier as you go. And it's also not just about going heavy, but also about the techniques that you use in training, and making sure that you actually get the muscle stimulation from your training. So protein and weight training
is good.
I honestly think women should be incorporated.
So actually the other day, me and my boyfriend were walking, and he kind of brought up this fact where he was saying people are going to start using creatine as a health, like adding it as a health benefit, and not necessarily just to like build muscle and stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, at the end of the day, they did research and stuff, and like
it's the most research supplement out there.
Yes. And they were saying like they're going to start selling it as a health thing and not just as a muscle building thing. And I was like, that's the same with the protein. Women used to never use it, because it used to be like, oh, you're going to build muscle. So I think like before you just say no to something, maybe just do a little bit of research as well. Even if you feel a bit unsure about the fact of using protein and stuff, do a little research. I'm pretty sure you'll find what you need to know. Then another thing, I think you were just saying as well, that you don't know how much you weigh, which I think is it's something that me as a model, sometimes it gets me down if I get on the scale and I am 2 kilograms heavier than I was 4 or 5 months ago. And it's something that I struggle with mentally as well. But at the end of the day, if you work out and you use weights and stuff, you are probably gonna
because you're building muscle.
Exactly. And it happened to me actually in lockdown, because I did a bit of weights and stuff, and I really like worked out very hard, and then I picked up a kilo or 2, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? And I went into this whole like, I'm gonna stop exercising now because I'm heavier. And you shouldn't let that demotivate you, because it's probably muscle. If you really train like hard and you eat healthy, it's probably muscle. And at the end of the day, that's sometimes better because you burn fat.
Yeah.
Which
is everyone's goal.
Exactly. And what I'm trying to say is, don't always look at the scale. The scale can be so like,
there's so many other victories.
Exactly.
And
And
just the scale.
even like women with our hormones and stuff, you can be a kilogram heavier tomorrow than you were today just because you're on your period.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
don't always go
bad.
on. It's bad. No.
Yeah.
So I'm off the scale now. I decided to leave that aside. And if
Yeah.
I need to weigh myself for like health benefits or something, then I'm like, my mom needs to look at the scale, and then she doesn't tell me how much it is. Otherwise, I just go mentally. I'm like, I can't do it. Except I always tell her, if I lost weight, tell me, baby. But
And then she just keeps quiet.
yeah, so that's my secret now, me and my mom's secret, or her secret. Anyways, thank you so much for chatting with us today. I mean, I learn from you every day, and you motivate me every day to kind of get up and get my body moving, even if it's just a walk. I think
That is great, by the way.
I know you said once, you were like, if you get your steps in, that's just as good. I was like, I get my steps in pretty good. I was like,
very underrated.
I was like, thanks, Yulin. Now I feel very good. But thank you so much for chatting with us. I think you're going to motivate so much more people in your life. I mean, your Instagram's insane, and the captions and stuff you put there is just like so motivating. And please don't ever stop. And yeah, hopefully I can chat with you again in a few months or so. Maybe I did some like weights training by then, and then we can have a different conversation about this. But thank you so much, and I really just wish you all the luck with your career and everything. And yeah, you're very inspirational, and I really do look up to you.
Thank you, Mika.
Focus. Focus. Nou, dat weet ik al zo. I know, you're on the channel. Kom maar. Kijk, voor ons aangaan. Als je in die camera praat, je moet in die camera kijken en niet naar jezelf. Ja, anders dan lijkt je zo. Oké. Wacht niet, gaan we gaan. Voor wel lekker. Oh. Oh, we are back. Hallo. Je gaat naar beginnen. Want creatine. Wat is creatine in Engels?
Creatine, ja.
Oké, wait, let me start over. No lachen, I can remember creatine salad. Okay, my boyfriend was
Was walking?
Ja, ik ga dus weer. Dank.
Dat is zo makkelijk eigenlijk.
Ach ja.